Hello and welcome to K News. This is Hardik Trivedi. Let's have a look on what is happening in India and in the world. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday said business activity in India is returning to normal levels, with consumption and demand fast approaching pre-COVID levels. A protracted lockdown imposed to curb spread of coronavirus has resulted in severe disruption of industrial production and consumer spending, with GDP growth forecast to contract sharply. Speaking at the launch of commercial coal mining, Modi said business activity was fast returning to normal levels. Consumption and demand are now reaching pre-COVID levels, he said. He cited rise in electricity demand and fuel consumption, among others, to point to recovery. These indicators point to Indian economy fast preparing to bounce back. India has come out of big crisis in past and it will come out of present one as well. India's growth and success is guaranteed, propagating his idea of making the country self-reliant by cutting imports. Just until a few weeks back, we used to import N95 masks, corona testing kits, personal protective equipment and ventilators, but now we have become self-reliant and are also in a position to export some medical equipments. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday launched the auction process for 41 coal blocks for commercial mining, a move that opens India's coal sector for private players, and termed it a major step in the direction of India achieving self-reliance. Launching the auction of mines for commercial mining that is expected to garner rupees 33,000 crore of capital investment in the country over next 5 to 7 years. The Prime Minister said India will win the coronavirus war and turn this crisis into an opportunity, and the pandemic will make India self-reliant. The launch of the auction process not only marks the beginning of unlocking of the country's coal sector from the lockdown of decades, but aims at making India the largest exporter of coal, the Prime Minister said. Presently, despite being the world's fourth largest producer, he said India is the second largest importer of the dry fuel. Allowing private sector in commercial coal mining is unlocking resources of a nation with world's fourth largest reserves. Major scams had taken place in coal auction earlier, but the system has been made transparent now, PM said, lambasting past policies of keeping the sector closed. The PM said that this auction process will result in major revenues to states and create employment besides developing the far-flung areas. The commencement of auction process of these block, part of the series of announcements made under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, is likely to contribute rupees 20,000 crore revenues to annually to the states' governments. The government has taken an important decision to open up coal and mining sector to competition, capital and technology. Coal and Mines Minister Prahlad Joshi, who was also be present during the launch event, said rupees 50,000 crore is being invested in the sector to jack up India's coal output to 1 billion ton. With a view to achieve self-reliance in the coal sector, the Ministry of Coal, in association with FICCI, launched the process of auction of 41 coal mines under the provision of Coal Mines Act and Mines and Minerals Act. Upon attainment of peak rated capacity of production of 225 million tons, the government said these mines will contribute about 15% of the country's projected total coal production in 2025-26. It will also lead to employment generation for more than 2.8 lakh people, direct employment to approximately 70,000 people, and indirect employment to approximately 2,10,000 people, as per the government. The Shiv Sena on Thursday said it is shocking that the detailed account of the standoff in Galwan Valley has not been public, and if it is true that the Chinese intruded into the Indian territory, then it is an attack on the country's sovereignty. An editorial in Sena mouthpiece Samna said in the last 6 years there has been a propaganda that India has become strong under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's rule. But in this period, Pakistan, Nepal and now China have directly attacked us. We don't have good relations with our neighbors, and it is surprising that claims are made by our politicians of winning the world. Pakistan's attitude is the same even after surgical strikes. China cannot be trusted and is known for deception. But if Nepal also takes an anti-India stand, the position of our country is not good, the Marathi Daily said. Nobody wants tension on the borders, especially in the present times. But should the sacrifice of 20 soldiers be allowed to go waste? It asked and said, if there is no retaliation, Modi's image take a beating. 20 Indian Army personnel, including a colonel, were killed in the clash with Chinese troops in Galwan Valley in eastern Ladakh on Monday night, the biggest military confrontation in over 5 decades that has significantly escalated the already volatile border standoff in the region. The Sena claimed the government sources have quoted that a Chinese commanding officer and 30 to 40 of their soldiers have been killed. Should we be happy and clap for this? If it is true that the Chinese intruded into our territory, it is an attack on our sovereignty. It is shocking that even after our 20 soldiers laid down their lives, a detailed account of developments has not yet been made. Earlier in 1975, the Chinese intruded into Arunachal Pradesh and 4 Indian Jawans were then killed in the firing, the former NDA constituent said. Now if there is so much damage even without the use of any weapon, gun, missile or tanker, then why manufacture security related equipment, bombs? We are taking each other's lives in physical fights. The Sena further said the US and China are fighting over the spread of COVID-19 pandemic, but USA doesn't come in the range of Chinese missiles. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi on Thursday questioned why Indian soldiers were sent unarmed to martyrdom in Ladakh and how dare China kill them, a day after asking the defense minister why he did not name China in his tweet and why it took him 2 days to condole the deaths of 20 army personnel. Gandhi also shared on Twitter an interview of a retired army officer who was worked in the area where the India-China violent standoff took place on Monday night. The former Congress president has been questioning the government over the martyrdom of Indian soldiers and has demanded answers from the Prime Minister. On Wednesday, he asked Defense Minister Rajnath Singh why did he insult the army by not naming China over the killing of Indian soldiers in eastern Ladakh's Galwan Valley. 20 Indian Army personnel, including a colonel, were killed in a clash with Chinese troops in the Galwan Valley in eastern Ladakh on Monday night, the biggest military confrontation in over 5 decades that has significantly escalated already volatile border standoff in the region. The clash in Galwan Valley on Monday night is the biggest confrontation between the two militaries after their 1967 clashes in Nathula, when India lost around 80 soldiers while over 300 Chinese army personnel were killed. The India-China border dispute covers the 3,488 km long LAC. China claims Arunachal Pradesh as part of southern Tibet, while India contests it. On Wednesday morning, the defense minister tweeted, "The loss of soldiers in Galwan is deeply disturbing and painful. Our soldiers displayed exemplary courage and valor in the line of duty and sacrificed their lives in the highest tradition of the Indian Army. Petrol price on Thursday was hiked by 53 paise per litre and diesel by 64 paise a litre, the 12th straight day of increase in rates that now totals of 6.55 for petrol and rupees 7.04 for diesel. Petrol price in Delhi was hiked to rupees 77.81 per litre from rupees 77.28, while diesel rates were increased to rupees 76.43 a litre from rupees 75.79, according to a price notification of state oil marketing companies. Rates have been increased across the country and vary from state to state depending on the incidence of local sales tax or VAT. This is the 12th daily increase in rates in a row since oil companies on June 7 restarted revising prices in line with cost after ending an 82-day hiatus in rate revision. In 12 hikes, petrol price has gone up by rupees 6.55 per litre and diesel by rupees 7.04 a litre. The freeze in rates was imposed in mid-March, soon after the government hiked excise duty on petrol and diesel to shore up additional finances. Oil PSUs, Indian Oil Corporation, Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited and Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited, instead of passing on the excise duty hikes to customers, adjusted them against the fall in the retail rates that was warranted because of fall in international oil prices or 2 decades low. International oil prices have since rebounded and oil firms are now adjusting retail rates in line with them. It's time for a short break. We'll join you in a short while. Welcome back to K News and thank you for watching. Let's continue the streak of news. Investments through participatory notes in the domestic capital market rose to rupees 60,000 crore till May end, making it the second consecutive monthly increase. P-notes are issued by registered foreign portfolio investors to overseas investors who wish to be part of the Indian stock market without registering themselves directly. They, however, need to go through a due diligence process. According to SEBI data, the value of P-note investments in Indian markets, equity, debt, hybrid securities and derivatives stood at rupees 60,000 crores until May, while the same was rupees 57,000 crore at the end of April. The investment level had fallen to an over 15-year low of rupees 48,000 crore at the end of March. The figure at March end was the lowest level of investment since October 2004, when the total value of P-note investments in Indian markets stood at rupees 44,586 crore. The lower figure in March came amid significant volatility in broader markets on concerns over the COVID-triggered recession. Of the total of 60,000 crore invested through the route till May, rupees 49,160 crore was invested in equities, rupees 10,000 crore in debt, rupees 159 crore in the derivatives segment, and rupees 103 crore in hybrid securities. Arjun Mahajan, head of institutional business at Reliance Securities, said the P-note is now not a preferred route for investing in India as SEBI has made registration easier and also desirable for FPIs. However, due to certain taxation law in India, FPIs still want to explore this route for investing. Another aspect that may be considered in the current uncertain environment is that certain FPI investors who don't have an FPI license and who may not want to invest in India for long term and just invest to either capitalize on easy liquidity and also attractive valuations may prefer P-note route as it gives them the option to invest for however long they want, make the target returns and go away. Earlier in September, Securities and Exchange Board of India simplified Know Your Customer requirements and registration process for FPIs. Besides, the regulator broad-based the classification of such investors. Meanwhile, FPIs withdrew a net sum of rupees 7,355 crore from the capital markets in May. This was much lower than a pull-off of rupees 14,858 crore by them in preceding month. The Congress has moved a non-confidence motion against the Biren Singh-led government Manipur a day after 9 legislators withdrew support from the government. If the government fails to survive, the BJP will lose the northeastern state, where it formed a government in 2017, despite the Congress emerging as the largest single party in the election. The no-confidence motion was moved after Konrad Sangma-led National People's Party, a key BJP ally in the northeast, formed an alliance with the Congress in Manipur. The new alliance, called the Secular Progressive Front, also has the support of one Trinamool Congress and one independent MLA. The SPF, which is led by former Chief Minister Okram Iboi Singh, has urged the governor to call a special assembly session for the flow test. Starting with Assam in 2016, the BJP had managed to rule all 7 states in the northeast, singly or alliance with local parties. If the Manipur government lost the trust vote, it would be the first state to go out of its group in the area. The ascendant numbers on the Congress side will also create trouble for the party in the election for the lone Rajya Sabha seat in the state, which will be held on June 19. Among the 9 MLAs who have withdrew support from the government are 4 from Konrad Sangma's NPP, who include Deputy Chief Minister Y. Joy Kumar Singh, Cabinet Ministers NKC L. Jayanta Kumar Singh and Lepao Harikop. 3 BJP MLAs S. Subhash Chandra Singh, T.T. Haukip, Samuel Jendani, the lone Trinamool Congress MLA T. Robindra Singh and independent MLA Shahabuddin, who are also among the rebels. India and China have agreed to deal with the serious matter triggered by the violent clash between border troops in eastern Ladakh's Galwan Valley on Monday in a just manner, the Chinese Foreign Ministry said on Thursday. Both sides agreed to deal with the serious matter caused by the conflict at the valley in a just manner, jointly observe the commander-level talks, consensus and de-escalates the tensions as soon as possible and safeguard the peace and tranquility, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian said in the regular ministry briefing on Thursday. Zhao took 6 questions on the border incident but managed to skirt it all by repeating statements and not revealing China's casualty figures. He declined to respond to the queries on reports of China building a dam on the Galwan River at the Sino-Indian border to obstruct its flow. To a question on whether the confrontation started when the Indian troops arrived to demolish structures set up by China along the line of actual control, Zhao reiterated in China's allegation, squarely blaming the Indian troops for the incident. The right and wrong of this case is very clear and responsibility doesn't lie with the Chinese side, adding that China has provided the details of the case. Beijing hasn't revealed the People's Liberation Army casualty numbers through China's government-controlled official media, has acknowledged it without mentioning numbers. Zhao reiterated Chinese Foreign Ministry Wang Yi's statement, which was issued after he had a telephone conversation with India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. The Indian minister conveyed India's protest in strongest terms to Beijing and said the unprecedented development will have serious impact on the bilateral ties. He asked the Chinese side to reassess its actions and take corrective steps, the Ministry of External Affairs said in a statement in New Delhi. Separately on Thursday, Hua Chunying, Director General of the Chinese Foreign Ministry's Information Department, said India must not underestimate its firm will to safeguard its territorial sovereignty. India frontline troops broke the consensus and crossed the line of actual control, deliberately provoking and attacking Chinese officers and soldiers, thus triggering the fierce physical conflicts and causing casualties, she said in a tweet. A large number of Indian and Chinese troops have been locked in eyeball-to-eyeball situation in Galwan Valley and other areas of eastern Ladakh for the last 5 weeks since May, including in Pangong TSO, Galwan Valley, Demchok and Daulat Beg Oldi in eastern Ladakh. Government of India has decided to launch a massive rural public work scheme, Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan, to empower and provide livelihood opportunities to the returning migrant workers and rural citizens. PM Modi will launch this Abhiyan on 28th June 2020 at 11 am through video conference in presence of the Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar. The Abhiyan will be launched from village Telihar, Block Beldar of Khagaria district of Bihar. Further, the Chief Ministers of other 5 states and Union Ministers of concerned ministries will also participate in the virtual launch. The villages across 116 districts in the 6 states will join the program through the common service centers and Krishi Vigyan Kendras, maintaining the norms of social distancing in the wake of the pandemic. This campaign of 125 days, which will work in mission mode, will involve intensified and focused implementation of 25 different types of works to provide employment to the migrant workers on one hand and create infrastructure in rural regions of the country on other hand, with a resource envelope of rupees 50,000 crores. A total of 116 districts with more than 25,000 returnees migrant workers across 6 states, namely Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Jharkhand and Odisha, have been chosen for the campaign, which includes 27 aspirational districts. These districts are estimated to cover about 2/3 of such migrant workers. The Abhiyan will be a coordinated effort between 12 different ministries and departments. The S&P BSE Sensex and NSE Nifty 50 indexes stacked a sharp up move on Thursday, led by gains in HDFC, Reliance Industries, Kotak Mahindra Bank, ICICI Bank and ITC. The Sensex rose as much as 768 points and Nifty 50 index touched an intraday high of 10,111. The sharp up move in the benchmarks came on the back of short covering rally. At weekly index futures and options contracts expired today, the Sensex climbed 700 points or 2% to close at 34,208, and Nifty 50 index surged 210 points or 2.13% to close at 10,092. All the 11 sector gauges complied by the National Stock Exchange ended higher, led by Nifty Bank Index over 3% surge. Nifty Financial Services, Private Bank and PSU Bank indexes also rose between 2 to 3% each. Mid and small cap shares were also witnessed buying interest as the Nifty Mid Cap 100 and Nifty Small Cap 100 indexes rose over 1% each. 40 out of 50 shares in the Nifty were trading higher, led by Bajaj Finserv's 6% gain. Coal India, Z Entertainment, Bajaj Finance, Kotak Mahindra, Power Grid, Axis Bank and ITC were also among the gainers. On the flip side, TCS, Hindustan Unilever, Sun Pharma, Hero MotoCorp were among the notable losers. The overall market breadth was extremely positive as 1800 shares ended higher, while 7724 closed lower on the BSE. That's all for now. Keep watching K News. This is Hardik Trivedi taking your leave. Be alert, be positive, be safe.